Egypt is threatening to sever all ties with Italy after the Mediterranean nation suspended a long-standing arms deal. Egypt may stop cooperating with Italy in the crackdown on human trafficking and migration from North Africa to Europe. It comes as the Italian Senate approves a bill suspending the supply of spare parts to Egyptian warplanes. Italian members of parliament have accused Egypt of not doing enough in the murder case of an Italian student. But the Egyptian government says it has been cooperating fully. Guilio Regeni's body was found in February, bearing signs of torture. Egypt has hit back, claiming Italy did not take any action on two Egyptians who disappeared in the country last year. For more on this now, I'm joined by CCTV's Yasser Hakim. He's in Cairo. He's standing by for more on that development. Yasser, is Egypt likely to carry out its threat, though, to sever all ties with Italy? Is this diplomatic row not resolved?
Well, Egypt obviously will keep this option as the last step in case of any escalation from Italy. But I think Egypt was trying to prove a point that it will take retaliatory action if Italy continues with these new measures, if it tries to take other measures against Egypt. Egypt is trying to also say that this whole case is being politicized by the Italian side. For Egypt, it's a criminal case that is working hard to find the perpetrators and cooperating with the Italian authorities to find the killers. But at the same time, it feels that the Italians are not taking Egypt's efforts into consideration and have been politicizing it, and that Egypt has been silent throughout the past few months concerning the Italian actions and decisions from the parliament. But now it's saying that it will not stay silent anymore. But of course, severing ties will affect Egypt itself, especially economically, and especially also if EU joins Italy in any further action against Egypt, especially economic embargo or whatever that has been threatened by the Italian MPs. So it will be an extreme last option, but just Egypt is trying to say that it has the cards to play if Italy tries to escalate.
Well, yes, sir, this would affect Egypt, though, on its economic front. But diplomatically, what would happen if Egypt goes ahead and cancels cooperation with Italy with regards particularly to the crackdown on illegal migrants from North Africa to Europe?
It's a very sticky point because the migration issue has been growing, especially after the Turkish route has been stopped for migrants. Now the number of migrants going through North Africa, especially Egypt and Libya, has increased because of being the other alternative, the only alternative now. As Frontex, that's the EU organization, has announced that the numbers have doubled or more than doubled in the last year. Only in May, there's been 19,000 illegal migrants who moved from Egypt. Obviously, much more from Libya, around 70,000. And Egypt has been working on a plan with the EU to try to stop the illegal migration, working together on a cooperation, obviously, from the navy of both the European and the Egyptian in the Mediterranean Sea, and also on the borders, because these migrants are not only from Egypt, they're from Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, from Sudan, from Syria, and coming all the way to Egypt and then going up to Italy. So Egypt has been working on a framework with the EU to try to stop the migration, and also working with the EU to try to stop the migration from Libya, using Egyptian also forces in the Mediterranean Sea to try to counter the illegal migration from Libya into Italy. So there's been a plan on this, and Egypt is now threatening that it will cancel this plan and if this happens, obviously it will have a big effect on the number of migrants going to Europe. And it's not just about migrants, because within those migrants there's fear that could be terrorists trying to infiltrate into Europe from the North African seashores.
All right, Yasser Hakim for us there in Cairo. Thank you. And we'll stay with Egypt for the moment, where supporters of Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi says he is rebuilding the country's international standing. Yet the Guilio Regeni murder has cast a cloud over relations with Europe. CCTV's Jen Keo has more.
Guilio Regeni arrived in Cairo late last year to research for his doctorate at Cambridge University. By late January 2016, the 28-year-old was making headlines. Regeni was heading to a birthday party on January 25th, the 5th anniversary of the Tahrir Square uprising. He never made it. 9 days later, Regeni's body was found dumped by a roadside outside Cairo, and it showed signs of torture. Egyptian authorities claimed a criminal gang was responsible, but that failed to convince some Egyptians and certainly did not convince the Italians, particularly after reports emerged that police arrested Regeni on the day he went missing. Rome insisted on sending its own investigators. They claim Cairo has refused to cooperate with them. Egypt says it's doing all it can to find Regeni's killers. Almost 6 months on, the case of Guilio Regeni remains unsolved, and now with this latest development, the case threatens to make an impact well beyond Cairo and Rome. Jin Keo, CCTV.